Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at this 3-pack of 4-inch Lightyear's action figures. Now this set is actually exclusive to Disney parks along with a few other sets in this scale. I can't actually tell what company makes it. It just kind of says Shop Disney on it, and I guess they have their own companies they use. But the thing with this is, my friend recently went to downtown Disney in California and kind of discovered these because, you know, we didn't even know they existed. I think the ship is on Shop Disney, but none of the other sets are. So this is a 3-pack of figures here. You can see we have Buzz, Mo, and Izzy. And we were trying to do research online to see if anyone had them, if there were any videos or pictures or any kind of reviews. And we couldn't find anything. So we kind of took the chance and decided to pick them up. And so I thought to myself, I should make a video, because that way if anyone else is trying to find out about these in the future, there'll be at least one video where someone can check this out. So it looks like a pretty cool 3-pack here. Like I said, pretty standard packaging. Doesn't really say what company makes these anywhere on the box, just says Shop Disney. But this pack is not available on the Disney website. It's only available in the parks. So there is the ship that I mentioned previously that comes with Buzz. That is on Shop Disney. There's this 3-pack. There is the 4-wheeler vehicle. That's another set. And then there's the giant Cyclops robot. That's another set. So, you know, if you guys like this, I can try to do some reviews for the other ones, but I wanted to start here just because, you know, we have Buzz. I can do some comparisons to the Mattel toys as well as some other 4-inch action figures and things like that. Packaging's pretty standard. Not really much going on here. You just have some shots of the characters. I guess there's an explosion or something going on behind them. I'm not really sure. Just have the Lightyear logo there on top. Nothing on the bottom. Again, just Lightyear on this side. Just Lightyear on this side. And then this is actual product shots of the 3 figures here. 12 points of articulation. So really standard packaging, honestly. Doesn't even have the price. I think this was around $30 for the 3-pack, if I'm not mistaken. Which honestly, for a theme park gift shop, for 3 4-inch action figures, I feel is really not that terrible, to be quite honest. It was either 30, 35, something in that range. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get them out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the figures out of the packaging. We will start here with Buzz. And the first thing that jumps out to me about these figures is the amount of paint applications. I mean, all the way around the figure. Just absolutely fantastic use of paint. They really went all out for these. The head sculpt, I think, looks pretty good. He's got his rosy cheeks, his giant chin. The eyes are painted nicely. I mean, just look at all this silver here around the suit, which looks really nice. He's got a peg hole in the back here for a jetpack, which I believe comes with the larger ship. That was not included here. The only accessory he has is this tiny little blaster, which he can hold pretty well. I kind of wish there was a way he could peg it onto like the side of his waist, but not a huge problem. Articulation-wise, the head is on kind of a ball joint here. You can see how it can kind of move all around, look side to side, move up and down, no problems there. Again, doesn't have his dome. He's got a hinge here in the shoulder as well as a rotation. Then he's got a hinge in the elbow. He does have a swivel here right below the elbow, which is nice. Now, the other 2 figures have bicep swivels, and I'll show them off, but I don't think that Buzz does. I think the reason the other 2 characters do is because they have these large kind of 2-handed weapons, and so they would need to bring the arms in closer to be able to hold them. And since Buzz just has the tiny blaster, I think that's why they didn't bother giving him that extra bicep swivel. Honestly, I don't miss it since we have the swivel here below the elbow. At least that's something. We have a waist swivel here. Kick pretty far forward. Kick pretty far out to the side. The others can kick a little bit further out to the side. I'm not really sure why Buzz kind of stops about there, but we have a bend here at the knee, and then there is a swivel right below the knee, very similar to how the elbow works. His is a little tight. It's a little looser on the other 2 figures. I'll show that off in a minute. But just have all these like really nice designs here. You have these logos on the side, which look really nice. Just a lot of detail in paint applications. They look really, really sharp. So next up, we will move on to Izzy, who has the same kind of suit. You can see this weapon here. It's a 2-handed weapon, and then because it's a little gigantic, they gave it this kind of like tripod leg so she won't fall over, which I appreciate. I'm going to temporarily take this out of her hands. I'm a little nervous with this piece because you can see it's very thin. Holding on to this part, this handle over here, is no problem. But even just the amount of detail in the weapon is really nicely painted and detailed. Really sharp. You have the kind of dual cannon here. And then you have that kind of tripod leg, which is a nice attention to detail. I don't... No, you probably can take this. I mean, it's just a ball joint. Can I pop this out? Yeah, so if you don't want that on there, if you like the look of just the gun, you can go ahead and just pop this off. It's just a little ball joint right there. So I'll just pop this back in. And it really does help because it is kind of a massive gun, so it helps, you know, to pose so she won't fall over. But again, if you don't like the look of that, if you want just the gun and you can get her to stand on her own, you can pop that stand right out of there. It's not hard at all. So now back to the figure. Again, I think the face sculpt looks pretty good. Nicely done there. Now, she has these, like, little buns you can kind of see back there and back there. And that does kind of hinder the articulation because they kind of hit into the side of the helmet piece here. So she can only look about that far side to side. But again, she's got the same level of paint all the way around. She might even have a little bit more paint back here. Yeah, she's got even more paint than Buzz does on the back. And then you can see here I was talking about that bicep swivel. So you can see the bicep swivel right there. But then she also has the below the elbow swivel as well. Now I will say I'm kind of glad Buzz doesn't have it because the bicep swivel is a little loose, as you can see. And I'm kind of worried about how that'll hold up over time. But it's nice to have that articulation point for the weapons. And she's even got a little bit more detailing on the back of the legs as well than Buzz does. So she's really decked out. I'm guessing it's because she's a smaller figure, so the budget could go towards a little bit more in the paint app department because she's not as tall and not as much plastic. But otherwise, she's got all the same articulation points in the legs. Her side-to-side movement down here is a little bit easier. Nothing up here at the thigh, but she can kick really far forward and she can kick a little bit further out to the side, as you can see. Again, got that bend at the knee, and then you got the leg swivel right there. So really nicely articulated figures, really nicely painted as well. She doesn't have all the silver up here, though. So I guess maybe they did a trade-off in terms of, you know, what got paint and what didn't. And then our last figure here is Mo. I really like this. I like seeing the Buzz suit in other colors. So I really like this orange. I think it works well with the purple. And they have the little numbers up here, so I guess she was number 1. And he's number 13. But again, I think the orange, the purple, and the gray all really work well. He's got the bicep swivel as well, but he's got a little bit thicker arms. But they still look like you can kind of see that gap there, and I don't really like that. I hope that holds over time. And he's got this kind of harpoon weapon, which again, really nicely detailed, really nicely painted. I think that looks great. You should be able to bring this in if you wanted like the other hand to kind of hold it here. The face sculpt I think looks great. I think his face sculpt might be my favorite out of the bunch. Just like the weird smirk he's giving. It gives it a lot of nice personality. The head can kind of rock back and forth and as well spin side to side. No problem there. Otherwise, all the articulation's the same. Shoulder, he's got the bicep swivel. He's got the elbow joint. And then he's got the kind of forearm spin right below the elbow. None of these figures have anything in the wrist. Those are all just solid pieces. He's got the waist swivel. He can kick pretty far out to the side as well. Oop, I just popped that off the ball joint there. Pop that back on. He can kick pretty far forward, kick pretty far out to the side. Maybe not as far as Izzy can. Well, maybe on that side he can. I don't know. I guess this might not be all the way back on the ball joint. I'll have to really pop that on there. But it should be fine. I mean, the nice thing is if it pops off, you can easily pop it right back on. It's not a big problem. Although it does seem kind of loose now. But it pops back on. Got the bend there. And then he's got probably the loosest boot swivels of all of them. And he's got that detailing here on the back. So they're really nice figures, honestly. They're probably more like 3 3/4 inch. I know I said they were 4 inches before, but I would say they're probably more in the way of 3 3/4. I'm going to do some comparisons with some other figures for reference. So first up, I wanted to compare it to one of Mattel's Lightyear figures. I believe this is the Buzz Lightyear that came with their version of the XL-15 ship. But you can just see right off the bat the difference in the paint applications. I mean, this figure has basically nothing from the waist down in terms of paint. So all of this here, like right above the knees, all of this down here on the shins, around the side, the bottom of the boots, all of that is completely just blank on the Mattel figure. They have some paint here on the back, but I kind of like the purple more. I think that really is better. And then here on the sides of the hands, the logos on the sides are missing. And I know it's easier to get more paint on a smaller figure because of budget, but I mean, it just really points out how much paint this is missing. Now, this does have, you know, the bubble that you can take on and off, which is nice, and that's a feature that these guys don't have. Putting the Mattel bubble on here is kind of comical how big it is. But I just think these are really nice figures for the size. The amount of paint is still just kind of blowing me away. But I wanted to just show them. These are definitely 5-inch. So I would say, yeah, these are kind of more 3 3/4 inch. But you could probably still use these with the Mattel vehicles. I would think it wouldn't be that. I mean, they might be swimming in them a little bit. But I think it could still work. But yeah, just to do it, that's kind of the most direct comparison I wanted to do. The Mattel figures were not bad and had very similar articulation, but these just destroy them in terms of paint applications. And then for more size comparison, here is a 4-inch Fortnite figure, and then here is a 3 3/4 inch Marvel Legend Retro figure. So we got Nova, we got a fellow spaceman helping out here. So you can see these two are almost identical in size, and the 4-inch Fortnite figure is just slightly taller. So these are probably like more in scale with, like, you know, retro G.I. Joes and things like that, because they're more in the 3 3/4 inch scale. But still would work, I think, well with 4-inch figures. They're very, very close. And you have kind of like Mo, probably a little bit closer because he's a little taller. So that you can see that he's even kind of closer in size comparison. But someone like Izzy would definitely be very tiny in comparison. I think this is a really solid 3-pack of figures. Honestly, I kind of wish this was our normal retail line. I really like them in this scale. The amount of paint applications, it's just insane. I'm completely blown away with that. Articulation is great. The accessories are great. If I had to complain about one thing, it's just Buzz doesn't hold his gun the best. He can hold it, but it's at kind of a weird angle. Not a deal breaker by any means, but if I had to pick one thing. But the rest of the accessories are fantastic. I love how they included the stand here for Izzy's cannon. But if you don't like the aesthetic, you can pop that right off, and I think that's nice to be able to have that option. But just again, paint applications, articulation, they just all look fantastic. I wish there was a ton more of this line, but there's just not. There's like 3 or 4 releases total, and it's just kind of a shame because they're limited to Disney parks, so their reach is very limited, and a lot of people probably won't get to enjoy these. I wish they were all available on Shop Disney because, you know, again, I just wish they were more readily available, but they're really solid little figures. And like I said, I just kind of wish we had them from the beginning. I wish they were more widely available because they're great. I don't know what company makes them. Like I said, Shop Disney, I guess they must have, you know, a contract with somebody, but they don't really put the manufacturer on the box. It's not Mattel as far as I can tell. But yeah, they're great. You know, I have a few more releases for this line. I wish there were more, but yeah, definitely solid. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to see more reviews of these, if you like these, what are your general thoughts? Are you happy to stick to the 5-inch Mattel line? Like I said, I wish these were everywhere because I would have got these much, much sooner. I personally like 4-inch figures. 3 3/4 inch figures is kind of my preferred scale. So having these is a lot of fun. I mean, you could even kind of interact with Star Wars Vintage Collection if you wanted to. I mean, they're all in space. It's a wide galaxy, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.